For years, city council and administration officials have used taxpayer money to buy themselves dinner before council meetings. Back in 2013, Finance Director Tom Raguse told us the city budgeted $12,000 for council meals that year. Now, it's a relatively small amount, but given the city's financial situation and the fact that council is asking residents to increase taxes, do you believe this practice should continue? And we'll start with Khalil.
Well, I can say very definitively that this budget season I will be advocating for the removal of that from the budget.
Okay. Kayla?
No, that should not be a tradition. They have money. They should buy their own sandwich before coming in a meeting. I think people are going to be outrageous when they know what's going on. It's not a big deal, but they feel like it's more to it because it's not very public things. People think it's not only they doing that, they might do something else. So I think you need to end this practice. And when I'm elected, I will fight for that.
Okay. Mary?
I understood that originally when the meals were brought in, the council used to pay for it at the end of the year, and at some point that went by the wayside. In any case, I bring my own meal because I prefer a low-fat, whole-grain, vegan diet, and it's very hard to, people have trouble figuring out what that is, so I bring my own, and I'm happy to continue to do that because I just have odd choices. I can't say I stick to that 100%, but that's my goal. I just wanted to add that I really applaud what Noble Neighbors have done. You know, it's not just all government that solves our problems. One of the strengths in Cleveland Heights is that we've had citizens that have tackled various problems and done wonderful things. Everything from the Open Doors Academy to the Home Repair Resource Center, these were all started as community initiatives by individuals, and I just am so admiring of what Noble Neighbors is doing to deal with, bring focus to their issues and find solutions. And I could cite a whole list of you know, the Reaching Heights. It's just a real community strength that this community doesn't, people don't give up and move away just because things aren't perfect. They try to find a positive solution and they go after it. And we need as much of that as we can get.
Okay, thank you. Julie, council meals.
Yeah, I think it should be done away with because it's more a gesture. It's kind of like the idea that, you know, we're going to spend all this money on this extravagant meal and ask you to pay more out of your grocery money for taxes. It's not the $12,000. The per meal cost is high, but it's more of a gesture of saying, city council saying, you know what, we get it. We're not going to spend that money on this. We get it. We're going to cut expenditures. We're going to spend less money because it's your money, and we get it. And we're not going to take more of your grocery money for things like this. And somebody said, it's like I said, it's a gesture. It kind of implies, oh, well, if you'll spend money on that, we'll spend money on something else. So it's just one of those things that I think it's just a bad practice. People are not happy with it, and I think it would be a wonderful gesture for the council to make to stop doing that. And you look great, by the way.
Okay, thanks, and we'll move on to T.
I generally agree with what Julie said. I mean, ultimately, if we were proposing a tax decrease on the ballot, and you know the city could sustain that and still have dinners, then it's one thing. But it's one of those kind of like a slap in the face of, hey, we want more money from the taxpayers, and we're also going to use some of that to feed ourselves. If it's not going to affect productivity to take those meals away, then I don't see why not. So I generally agreeing that those should be taken out of the budget.
Okay, thanks. Carol?
I think it would be a very goodwill gesture on the part of council to get rid of that perk as it's seen by other people and use the money to do what we need to do to bring in an economic development director who is committed and understands that an economic development director in this city needs to work with the people in the neighborhoods, that it can't be a top-down approach. It needs to be from the bottom up. And I agree with Mary that we cannot expect government to do everything for us. We have to do some of that ourselves, which is why I organized my street block watch and why we all need to take responsibility for doing more for ourselves.
Okay, Cable, go ahead.
Yes, that's good, but sometimes the government is needy. But the noble area, I know, I go there all the time. They can organize, but if the city council have an impulse for them to bring some small businesses there to look those area like part of the Cleveland Heights, it will be better. The citizens are good, but the government need to put some cash down there too.
Okay.
I think
Does,
that would be
does
good.
anyone have anything else to say about council meals?
No, I don't eat salt, so I do not concern about council meal.